Hey, it's Yolanda at Dryer Buzz, and of course 27 inches. I'm sitting down here at the computer, and this is where we stop and tell you basically how to create buzz. And just finished a live stream. We were talking about one of the new reports that came out that looks at social media use and on the global perspective, how some developing countries are catching up with developed countries, because the developed countries, when it comes to social media, have been kind of stagnant. That's what we want to talk about. All right, and this report looks at how and where we've been and what we've been doing for the past 2 years. Now, you guys know, anybody that's probably pressed play on this, you know that I've been around for a few minutes. 30 years helping to close the digital divide, 16 of 20 years blogging, with 16 of those at dryerbuzz.com. And the one question I get asked every day, Yolanda, how do I create buzz? And so already a minute into this, I take time out of my day to stop and say, hey, listen, this is what I do. This is how I create buzz. Everything I'm giving you is actual, factual, and a little bit of hindsight thrown in there, right? And a little bit of foresight, because I'm always forecasting in the next frontier, where we're going. And right now, I want you to think about this as we set up this week's series of podcasts, and we try to do a succession of them, like not just one, because time runs out and we got to come back and got to clarify some things. So working through this report, what came to mind is how to make time. You just really have to figure out how to make time for this, because when I looked at this report and it was telling me what developing countries are doing, and there's an association to social media in developing countries, and that was wealth, the wealth side of that. Now, I know in the developed countries, of course, we've got some funnels and all this kind of stuff of how to make money, but the real thing comes down to, you can't make money unless you've got time. You've got to make time first. And I know for me, when I look at this report and it says that over the developing countries, not much happened with our use of the internet. Not much happened in new innovative smartphones coming out. We've saturated the area with the devices. We've kind of saturated with platforms, or not saturated, but became stagnant. We didn't rush to upgrade in the last 2 years. I know me personally, I kind of automated the process of blogging, automated the process of my writing, and I took 2 years off. So now that I'm jumping back into this, I'm looking like, whoa, we didn't do anything for the last, I know I didn't, but you mean the entire industry literally didn't do much over the last 2 years. We were live streaming before. They kind of pulled that back. Now it's new and improved again. Platforms are still trying to figure out how to work across all devices, be it the big screen, small screen, tiny screens, all of those things. And then where does the content live? I'm literally sitting here like, I haven't put any content on dryerbuzz.com because I don't know what dryerbuzz.com should be. For the past 16 years, it was a blog, and the behavior and the habits of my followers, friends, readers was to go there. But now we are dispersed across platforms. There's this diaspora that's out there. Now you kind of have to be everywhere in some shape, fashion, or form. And now blogging has, rather than putting the information on the blog and dispatching it or syndicating it to these different various places, that's still there. But what we come to find out is that people want to be where they want to be. Yeah, that's everywhere. And then some people say, well, Yolanda, your first tagline was meet your readers where they are. And I'm like, yeah, I still want to do that. But I got to make time for it. And when some customer will go and they'll download, one of the books to blog in the hashtag 27 answers to this, that, or the other. And then they come back and say, whoa, okay, now how do I make time for this? You make time because time makes money. You make time because time makes money. I don't mean to give you a cliche, but when I look at these numbers and I see that developing countries, had almost a 50% increase in making the time and making the money. Okay, they looked at social media as a place to make time. They looked at social media as a place to automate a lot of process. They looked at a place of social media as a place to meet their customers where they were and to sell. We're still at a point of going online and going on social media and getting in groups and networking and not talking about our business, not talking about our bottom line, not talking about what we're selling, not talking about customers, but to come on here and they have, to migrate and to congregate, migrate and to congregate based on pain and suffering and all those. I mean, it's real. But for those of you, as we said, we started this for those of you creatives, listen. For those of you that are creatives, trying to navigate and find your space in the marketplace between customers and capitalists. See, there's three things. There's customers, creatives, and capitalists, and you're trying to disrupt your industry, find your space in the marketplace, then this podcast is for you. So thank you for pressing play. And if you saw this on my timeline, your timeline, a friend's timeline, thank them, thank me, thank you, and let's finish working through this. So this week we're going to talk about, or this series, because I don't know when you're going to listen to this, but in this series of podcasts, I want to talk about how to make time, something that I've always done. And I was looking for a video today, so I had to literally go back 4 years into my social media to find this video. And unfortunately, the video was on Instagram. Instagram has very few filters of search and so forth. And so I came up with a new tool of hashtagging, because hashtagging is the greatest filter ever, better than search engines. In fact, I'll be able to, once I found the content, the hashtag I put on there, I'll be able to go and use that hashtag. I don't suppose, assume, or imagine anybody will use that hashtag. So it's called Dryer Buzz and whatever the subject. And I'm like, okay, I don't think anybody will jack that. But I had to take the time. I had to make time so that I can access my quote unquote receipts of showing what it is I have done, especially in particular topics. There's a topic that's hot today, and I'm like, wait a minute, we blogged about this and warned you about this and told you about this, that this could possibly happen 4 years ago. Here it is. And now, because that's what's going to happen when you make time and consistently put out content, especially evergreen content that's always relevant, people will want to go back and reference it. Things are changing in social media. You can't just go to the search engines anymore. People are searching on their favorite platforms, and people are basically asking, hey, did you write about this, or did you publish about that? You want to be able to send them to that. So I know for me, I now have to make time, even with these podcasts. I asked a PR specialist just the day before, listen, I'm still trying to figure out how to title my podcast, and I need to be able to come back and reference them. And they say, hey, let me give you somebody that can give you some hindsight. Go look at what they are doing. They sent me to an expert, and I'm like, whoa, that's it. The title and an episode number, without using the word episode, because I've literally been racking my brain, but I was trying to make time so that I could make time. I wanted to do it the best way to save time. Make time to save time so I can make more money. Make time to make money and those kind of things. So we're going to talk about how did you find time to do a podcast? I said, well, the one thing I know I can commit to is giving you 9 minutes. Okay. I don't have to go into analysis of paralysis of analysis. I know that I have to give you 9 minutes out of the day to talk about how to create buzz. So we're going to talk about how to create buzz this week, but we're going to talk about it from a perspective of how to make time so that you can make money, right? Because like these developing countries, unlike the developed countries, we want there to be an association, not a gap, an association between using social media and wealth, not a gap between those who use social media and the wealthy. But we want to do like those developing countries, because the developed countries have stalled. We want to close that gap. That's what we do at Dryer Buzz, and that's what we do at 27S. It's all about closing the gap. Right now, there is a gap because you want to use social media for business, and you can't figure out how to make time for social media. So therefore, you can't make time, you can't make money. But listen, I got to press stop, and I want you to look for the next episode. We're going to wrap this all up and talk about it in a couple of these podcasts. So there's several podcasts out there. All you got to do is look for Yolanda, Dry Your Buzz, and then just filter the entire internet with hashtag 27 Answers.